find some sort of harmony and balance.
Ladies and gentlemen, what's up? BC, welcome back to another video. Oh man, so a lot has been going on, right, in the world, in the real estate world, in the entrepreneurial world, in the world in general, and I wanted to come on today and chat with you guys a little bit about something that I think is going to help you all in every aspect of life, but I think especially when it comes to business, right? Most people, I would say, have been, and this is something that was revealed to me through learning, that I also realized I was kind of already doing to an extent, right? But I also saw the power of it, all right? Now, we will agree and we will observe in the world today that, especially when it comes to like the dating market, entrepreneurship, businesses, and that kind of stuff, most people are competing under the framework of I need to be just better than the competition, right? My phone needs to be faster, right? I need to be stronger, right? And it's this better, where everybody's like in this category where they fight with each other simply on the grounds of getting better, right? Now, one thing that I emphasized without even really realizing it in the beginning, but I'm finding now is extremely, extremely powerful is being different, right? Different, this is a quote for you. Different is better than better. Different is better than better, right? Let me give you an example. Let's say we have ice cream, right? Vanilla. Most people like vanilla, right? It's the crowd favorite. It's usually a little bit more subtle in taste. It's not so extreme. It even looks plain, right? And now look at somebody who likes Rocky Road or pistachio, right? Where now we have a competing flavor where maybe not as many people like it. However, the people who are about it are like raving fans and they swear by it. No, it's the best, right? Because typically you'll find people who are a lot more passionate about those other flavors versus just vanilla. Vanilla is just accepted by everybody. Oh yeah, it's good, whatever, right? And I wanted to make that simple distinction there and point because that's what I'm discussing when I say different. When I came out onto the scene in real estate and entrepreneurship and social media back in like 2013 and 2014, I had that going for me. I went against the grain. Most people in real estate and sales were older. I was younger, right? They dressed traditionally. I wore a suit, but I had purple shirts on, purple ties, like pink shirts, orange shirts. Like I was different, right? I was really door knocking a lot and doing the traditional stuff when everybody was starting to really push the online thing, right? And I was like, yeah, that's great, and I'm doing it, but you got to do the old school stuff. So people were very PC and politically correct. I wasn't. So just everything about me was different. Now, at that time, I just saw it as a genuine expression of who I was, and it still is to this day. However, that was working for me in the sense that it was different. So even though in the beginning I didn't have the experience or the knowledge or the communication skills, I attracted an audience and a following and respect and prestige and all these things because I was different, okay? So not only do you need to emphasize your own individuality and freedom of expression and all that will create this, because we're all individuals and we're all different anyway, right? But you need to understand it from a marketing standpoint, right? Sometimes you can't be better. If you're new watching this like I was 10 years ago, how are you going to be better than me? I have more experience, right? My team has sold a lot more. Like when it comes to sales and just the raw numbers and entrepreneurship and business and real estate, I've just been in the game longer than you. It's not fair for you. However, you can be different. And with being different, you can win without having to be better. And these are the points of things that I emphasized early on in my journey. Again, after I learned it, I emphasized it more, but I had it going for me early on, and it just has infinite benefit for you, right? You're able to capture people's attention. If we're constantly, as an example, trying to get better and better, and we're competing under the same kind of framework as everybody else, you blend in. You become a different version of the same people, right? And it's very much more difficult for somebody to distinguish the difference there. Versus if you're different, you know, it's like everybody's sitting there with a black suit and one guy has a red suit on. I mean, he just sticks out like a fucking sore thumb, right? But just by being different, you noticed him. He stood out. He got an opportunity. He got the attention. People were glued to him. They were asking about him. He was noticed, right? And that's really the key here for you to get is focus on being different, right? The better, the experience, all that, the skill will come with time. What makes you different? And in many cases, y'all, if we start exploring this, all you really need to do is start to increase your level of freedom of expression, which is something I discussed on a speaking tour where I went to DC. I went to Washington, DC for the day to do a speech and give a presentation on branding. This is one of the things that I talked about. Freedom of expression, right? As your individuality starts to creep out more in what you're doing in your social media, in your business, right? How you do things, you start to stand out. Like Alex Hunter, right? Shout out to him. He's one of my top students. He's in like every tier of my coaching. And one thing that he emphasizes well that works for him in marketing is his dog. He comes to my events, he brings his dog. He travels, he takes his dog. In his marketing and real estate, he has his dog. And it just sets his brand apart, right? I don't care if you like dogs, you hate dogs, you're neutral to them. That's something that he emphasizes that's part of his individual brand. He loves his dog. He has a great relationship with it. And he used to be afraid to show it because he thought it wouldn't be professional. And he said that's gotten him more attention and potential business and love and trust from clients than anything else he's ever done or any type of skill work that we've done, right? Because from a marketing standpoint, it makes you different. Just like the people who do the silly billboards where they dress up as Superman or something like that. If that's a genuine expression of them, kudos to them, dude. Kudos to them. Because they're expressing themselves. In a natural state, I'm very funny. I poke fun at things. I find humor in everything, right? I'm kind of silly in that sense. And I do that a lot when I present with clients, when I'm dealing with people and I'm selling. I have a lot of what I call laugh tracks in what I do, but that just comes a little bit more naturally to me. I am funny. I can poke fun at things. I can make people laugh, right? That's just something that's a part of me. You can learn that skill too, for sure. But by me not expressing that, I'm holding back. Where in many cases, I would be told by the traditionalists that, oh, that's not professional. What do you mean? Right? Is there like a rule book on professionalism? I know there's certain guidelines we have to it, but if I make a presentation, a sales presentation, if we really take a step back objectively and look at it, the whole goal is to get somebody to agree, if you're on the same page and you can help them, and hire you, right? Sign a contract. Now, if I get it, and I get to that, and they sign, and I do it at a high percentage, and I'm using humor, what's wrong with that? If anything, I know from a psychological standpoint, humor lowers resistance. And it's fantastic. It breaks the ice. It makes people more comfortable, right? It gets them to like you more and have more affinity with you. I mean, the list goes on and on of the eternal benefits of doing some of these things. So all I'm emphasizing here, y'all, is being different. Think about it. Your marketing, your branding, how you dress, how you walk, how you talk, your house, the symbols in your house and symbolism like I have here in my office and the sign and the YouTube, all that stuff, right? The YouTube button, all that stuff. Does that make you different, right? What are you hiding from the world? Remember, if people follow you or want to listen to you, they want to know you. This is what allows them to connect with you. This is what bridges that gap. This is what allows them to be comfortable with you and reach out to you and ask for your help and things of that nature, right? Because they're like, oh man, I relate to Bryan because XYZ. I'm an athlete too, right? All these things that you've been messaging me about over the last couple of years, right? Like I can give you a ton of examples. Like I made a video about depression when I was depressed. Man, that video got 50, 60, 70, 80, 100,000 views. And it was a simple 5-minute video I filmed in my backyard at the time with a shitty background and no equipment. But a lot of people related to it because they were going through something in that moment in time when they saw that video and they created an affinity with me. Same thing with me sharing about injuries and being a past professional athlete and all that stuff. Again, why would I hide that? A lot of people would say, well, that has nothing to do with business. What if they think I'm just a meathead? Well, that's just your assumption of what they think. Right? I need to have the freedom of expression to say, hey, at one point in my life, I did this. I was this person. That also gives you all these outlets for people to reach out to you and connect with you. So by you emphasizing how you're different and what makes you different, again, not necessarily better, because when we think different in a traditional sense, when I say that, you're automatically thinking, especially in a business standpoint, oh, it's got to be better. Not necessarily. Not necessarily. Like if the people in your industry, right, and you're listening to this, are all cheesy, hard-nosed, like not even that good salesmen and they're extra pushy and they're kind of sleazy and you're not that automatically makes you different. Even if you're still a salesperson, but you don't take it to that extreme, or you're not boxed in like they are and you're all corny like the average person is that learns sales that becomes robotic. Well, shit, that makes you different. That makes you different right there. And it's not to say that you're better or worse. It makes you different. It makes you noticeable. It makes you a viable option. It makes you visible to certain people. Right? Because it's not about appealing to everybody. That's a mistake that marketers make. You want to find who you appeal to, accentuate what you have, and then master that audience and that group of people to buy from you, to connect with you, right? And whatever it is that you have to offer. That's really the key here. If you can learn to do that, then now you're focused on a game that you're going to win. The constantly getting better one, that's a rat race that most people are stuck in. And there's nothing wrong with hanging your hat on particular skills. Like I know I'm at the top of the totem pole when it comes to skills and communication. in this genre, right? And I can teach people. My students benefit a lot from it. A lot of people come to me to learn from that, pay me a lot of money, et cetera, fly me out to speak and all that fun stuff. And that's great. But the main reason that any of that's even visible or viable is because I'm different. And I've emphasized that from day one. These things go hand in hand, but they're also independent of each other. And you need to make sure that what makes you, you, the world knows, right? And I think what's really the underlying theme behind that, though, is you have to learn to be good and okay with you. I heard this line and I'll never forget it. Are you okay with you? Probably not, right? Are you okay with you? If you're not, you'll never show what makes you different. And you think you need to sound, look like, and be like everybody else. That's the problem, right? So this is more of a mindset issue, what I'm talking about here at the end, but you need to at first be okay with yourself. Forget loving yourself and, cheering for yourself. That will come later when your self-esteem and self-confidence comes up. But first, be okay with you. If you're okay with you, like I'm okay with me, I am. Now you'll share the word and accentuate what's different about you without being fearful, without holding back, and the game will start to change. Then you'll start to appreciate yourself more, look at yourself more differently, and this process, right? That's the catalyst for this process that begins, that will start to shift everything for you. Then being different is just naturally what you do. Because now for me, it's just a genuine expression of who I am and my experience in my life. And it's so different and radical to people, but I'm not doing it as a tactic. I'm just being me. That's the difference. And ultimately, you want to get to that level. Okay? So that's it for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you're watching and listening to this, this Friday, I think it's today's Wednesday, right? August 11th, I'm doing a free event here in my office in Miami. Go to teambcevents.com. Check that out. I'm also doing a ton of webinars. Hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, if the links are not below, and I'll send them to you. NLP webinar, Agent Attraction webinar. We're hustling here at Team BC. And with what we're doing, if you're interested in checking out my coaching and courses and all the stuff that I offer, go to bryancasella.com or bryancasellacoaching.com. Check it out. Schedule a call if you want to discuss it further, or you have the option of signing up for everything there. All right, that's it for this one, guys. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.